Hey, what's up? And welcome to the GM. I'm your host, Leon Boulanger, and in this short podcast, I want to introduce the GM to you, who I am, and what we're here to do, right? So, first things first, again, my name is Leon Boulanger, and this is the GM. Now, why do we call this podcast the GM? Well, simply, the GM is a term that all sports lovers understand, and it stands for the general manager. That person who is responsible for the construction of a team. Okay, and we all have an inner GM inside of us. We all have thought, dreamed, considered, and maybe even played around on ESPN Trade Machine on how to make our teams better to get them ready to win a championship. And because I've done that countless times over many years, I thought it's time to create a podcast. Number one, to have honest communication, right? I think honest communication in sports is a way to bring balance to the sports arena, right? To the sports field, to the debate desk, right? But we don't really see that, right? We see coaches and players and sports pundits and sports reporters. They all have a script and a narrative, a message that they are trying to keep to. And so, what we want to do with the GM, we want to remove that. One, we do want to fantasize and dream about what our teams can look like based on our decision making. We want to have an honest conversation about who's playing well, who's making poor decisions, who's not getting it done, who needs to be cut, who needs to be traded for, who needs to be signed. Right? And that's what we want to do. What's going to set us apart, I believe, from most sports talk shows or sports podcasts is that we're going to create uh, a live interaction on a weekly basis. I'm not sure what date and time that'll happen, but it's coming very soon. And what that live interaction will be is a collection of us who love sports, love talking sports, and love to kind of put our GM hats on. And we're going to be in a live interaction, not a situation where I'm sitting around, I'm live and I'm reading your comments. No, we're all going to be live together, having a conversation, sharing ideas about our favorite teams. Now, I'm going to highlight my favorite teams in this podcast: the Brooklyn Nets, the Charlotte Hornets, um, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Carolina Panthers, specifically in this show. But I will deal with the entire NBA and the entire NFL uh, when we are producing content. The reason why I'm going to talk about the Brooklyn Nets is simply because Kevin Durant has been my favorite player since he's been in Texas, and I know some for some people that's a put off because Kevin Durant, in some people's eyes, has been a controversial figure, but I still like what I see on the ball court. So that's what we're going to do with the Brooklyn Nets. The Charlotte Hornets, because I'm a Carolina native, you have to talk about the home team, right? So that's why we'll talk about the Charlotte Hornets, the Carolina Panthers. Again, you have to talk about your home team. And then the Baltimore Ravens, I have been a fan since 1996. And so because of that, I want to be able to have real sports conversation with the Ravens community and also other NFL sports fans. So that's what we're here to do in the time that we have together. Our videos will be roughly 9, 10, 11 minutes, something like that. I don't want to give you too much too fast because I have a lot of thoughts, a lot of ideas as I put my GM hat on, have a lot of content to put out there, and I definitely want to be able to interact with the community. So I don't want to overwhelm you with a long podcast. As we start getting up on other podcast sites and things like that, what we'll do is our cast will be a little longer, maybe 25 to 30 minutes. And as we get those, we, as we touch base with those platforms, we certainly will let you guys know. Um, and then lastly, right? Lastly, I want to let you know what's coming up, right? So what's coming up? Uh, on our first 2 or 3 shows, maybe even the first week of shows or videos, if you want to just refer to them as videos. What's coming up is a deep dive into the Baltimore Ravens um, Sunday night game, uh, the future of Lamar Jackson, the future of the Baltimore Ravens as a whole, as a whole team, and then we'll certainly get into some Carolina Panthers, Brooklyn Nets uh, uh, content, and then of course we'll bring up the Charlotte Hornets a little later as we get closer to the trade deadline, because that's when conversations will get heated up. Well, listen, thank you for listening. Thank you for, tuning in to the GM. I'm your host, Leon Boulanger, and I'm out.